All right, welcome back, coders. Today we're talking about MCE 12, which is all about building with coordinates. Now, in order to learn how to build with coordinates, you have to learn how the coordinate plane system works. The coordinate plane system works with three different numbers. You know them as x, y, and z, perhaps. A lot of you maybe have only dealt with x and y. X is the coordinate that is in front of you or behind you, horizontally. Y is the coordinate that is above you or below you. And z is the coordinate from side to side. If you were to sidestep, that would be your z-axis. If you were walking forward or backwards, that would be your x. Your y would be if you jumped up in the air or if you took an elevator that would bring you down or up. And your z-axis would be your sidestepping axis. Together, we consider these to be the three dimensions that we exist in: the x dimension, y dimension, and z dimension. That said, we're going to first demonstrate how this is illustrated in coding with our bot. So I'm going to show you how you can move around with your robot in Minecraft. If you press C when you're in our Minecraft area here, you will get the code builder that pops up. Also, your robot will appear at the spot that you are in. Now, to illustrate how the X, Y, and Z axes work, I'm going to build a quick command that will allow me to teleport my robot in those three axes. So I'm going to create a new project. I'm going to make this on chat command. I'm going to make it a TP command to teleport my robot. And I'm going to grab my agent blocks. Now, in my agent blocks, I'm going to grab this one that says agent teleport to 000 facing west. Normally, we use the teleport to player command, but in this case, we're using the teleport to command. Now, if I make him teleport to 000, this actually means where I am standing. 000 is my current location in this area. So if I type TP as a chat command, you'll see that my robot teleports exactly in my position because my position is 000. If I change this position, however, the first number is my x, the second number is my y, and the third number is my z. If I put 5 here, then that means that my robot, after I run this command, is going to teleport 5 spaces away from me in the x position. So right now, if I look in front of me, he's actually, if I'm standing right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps away from me. If I go into my section and I put -5 here, you will see that, and instead of being in front of me, when I type TP, he's going to be behind me 5 steps. If I go back into my code and I take this back to 0, if I put 5 here in the middle, this is my y coordinate, what will happen is he will teleport 5 steps above me. So there he is. He's 5 blocks above my position. If I fly up in the air and I move a little bit, if I make him teleport to -5, you will see that he teleports below me when I teleport. So that's the y-axis. It's up and down, or the second number here. And the last number is my side to side. So if I put 5 in here, my z coordinate, when I type in TP, he's going to be 5 steps to my right. And if I put -5, you guessed it, he's going to be on the left side. So this is how the coordinate plane works, how coordinate directions work inside of Minecraft. And really, this is how you can think about coordinates in general. There's going to be 3 coordinates. What's in front of you or behind you is x. What's above you or below you is y. And what's from your right side would be a positive z, and your left side would be a negative z. That said, we can use this to begin building things. So I'm going to go into my commands one more time. I'm going to go into my player chat commands, and I'm going to create one called bwall, short for build wall. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my blocks, and I'm going to grab the fill with block here and plug that into where it says bwall here. And what I can do is I can choose my blocks to be whatever I want. In this case, I'm going to do something cool. I'm going to put in some powered rails because I'm going to build, using these functions, I'm going to build a pretty cool roller coaster. That's going to be my goal for this project. So if I want to build a wall here, I'm going to start, actually I'll build a wall to begin with. So I'm going to build a wall out of redstone. Let me find that. So redstone lamp, that'll work. Alright, so here's a redstone lamp. I'm going to build from 1 block in front of me to 10 blocks in front of me. And when I run b-wall, it's going to build a block in front of me, and it's going to build 10 blocks in front of me. It's going to build from the first block in front of me to the 10th block in front of me. Cool. I can change this number to whatever I want. If I change this to 100, you'll see that my wall becomes very long. There we go, pretty cool. It's a long wall. Now that said, I can use a variable. Before we used variables to do this, to alter chat commands, I'm going to show you how you can use a variable to do that so you don't have to hard code how far your wall goes. If you click on the plus right here next to the chat command's name, it creates a variable. And in this case, the variable is called num1. I can now go into my variable blocks here and I'll find that num1. I can either set it, I can change it, or I can reference that variable. I'm going to grab the reference variable here to num1, and I'm going to plug it in this first coordinate of the 2. So it's going to build a wall from right in front of me to whatever number I put in after I type in b-wall. I'll type in b-wall space and then a number, and that number is what's going to fill in right here and how far my wall is going to go. So if I type b-wall 10, it's going to build a wall that is 10 lanes long. If I put b-wall 100, now it'll build a wall 100 long. So now I have a way where I can modify on the fly what the variable amount would be. What happens if I put a negative number, I wonder? b-wall -50. Oh, it built from in front of me, but it's building behind me. What do you know? It'll work either way. Cool, I can make it go forwards or backwards. Alright, let's see what else I can do with this. Let's say I take this variable and instead of making it the x coordinate, I put it in the y coordinate. The second one. I'm going to make this 0 just for the sake of making it easy. Actually, I'm going to match it to what the from one is here. So it's still going to print in front of me 1 block. But now it's going to change the variable to work on the number that I put in the y coordinate. What's this going to do? Well, it's going to build up. Basically, I can build walls that go straight up in the air. The cool thing about these redstone blocks is that if you put in a redstone block right next to it, then it will light up a block, a redstone lamp that is right next to it. Also, if you use this redstone block with some powered rails, if I choose to use powered rails, it will also cause that to have electricity, basically. And if I put a cart on these rails, if I put a cart on here, it will move. What do you know? This is how I can power different objects. And I'm going to use this. You can actually get into the cart and take a little ride. So I'm going to use this actually as an example. Let me try making a rail cart here. I'm going to make it filled with powered rail. And I'm going to make it a really long rail here. There we go. If I put some redstone right next to this, it powers it. And if I put a cart down, there it goes. It looks like it only powers it for so long, so I'm going to need to make a wall of redstone as well to power the whole thing. I'm getting aside from what I want you to learn, but just know that you can use this to be able to create all kinds of things, not just walls, but you can replicate any block over and over again. Alright, so we understand the the way that this works a little bit. What happens if I put my variable into the third number slot? Well, you guessed it, it's going to go side to side. So if I put bwall 100, now it's building my lane this way to the side. I can make it go forwards or backwards. I can make it go up or down, or I can make it go from side to side. Those are my 3 coordinates that I can use as a system. All right, that's all well and good. This is how you can build a wall, a horizontal wall. This is the solution to the first, the A section of our 12th exercise here. Now we're going to talk about how you can create a floor for the second part, a slab floor. I'm going to use the same chat command. I'm just going to right-click it and go to duplicate. However, I'm going to rename it. Instead of bwall, I'm going to call it bfloor because I want it to be able to build a floor. Let's make it just floor. I'm still going to use my variable, but this time, instead of building right at the same level that I'm at, I'm going to make it build under me. So I'm going to make it start -1 block in the y-axis for both the starting and the end point. This will make it to where I can basically have it build a floor. It's going to start building below me. Now if I just type bfloor and a number, it's going to basically build a wall but forward, and it's going to build underneath me. So this is a way to basically build a road, something like that. But if you wanted it to have an extra added dimension, this is only going to build one line. If I want it to build also in the Z direction, I can make it actually build a floor. So if I go into my commands here, I'm just going to make the variable that affects this num1 variable, I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm going to put it in the same slot as Z. So now it affects both X and Z. If I run this, you'll see that now it builds 10 blocks in front of me, but it's also going to build 10 blocks to the side of me. It's a way for me to make a square that is basically what I want it to be. Cool. This is how you can make a floor, and this is the basic code that you want. You're going to have its position in the y-axis to be -1, so it starts below you. If you don't do this, if this is set to 0, watch what happens. It builds what I want, but it builds it as a wall, kind of. It's a space here. So what I want is something more like this, where it changes the floor out. In order to do that, you need to change your y-coordinate to be -1. Then it'll build 1 block below you. Yes, but for people who didn't do it, I want to make a tutorial for them. Nope, if you've already done it, you're clear for today. So I can make a pretty big dance floor here. That's pretty cool. I like that. Now let's move on to the last part, which is creating a house, the third section of this. To create a house, I'm going to do the same thing that I have here. I'm going to duplicate this block, but I'm going to make it now be house because I want it to build a house. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this variable and I'm going to make it also affect the y parameter. So it's going to build in front of me. It's going to start 1 block below me, and then it's going to actually build a house that is, where it's going to build a structure that is the number that I put in lengthwise. It's going to be the number that I put in long, the number that I put in tall, and the number that I put in wide. So if I put B house 5, it builds a block that has those dimensions. If I break into this house, you'll notice, oh, it's all solid. I might not want it to be solid. In fact, for your assignment, I don't want it to be solid. But luckily, there's an easy way to fix this. Down here, there's an option for you to fill, not to replace whatever inside the dimensions that I put, but we can put hollow to make it hollow. Now, if I type out build house and 10, you'll see that the inside is now hollow. Perfect. All right. You now know how to build structures very quickly using the coordinate system. You know how to build lines that can go in the X direction, the Y direction, or the Z direction. You know how to build structures that have both length and width, as you see here, the floor. And you know how to build structures that have length, width, and height. You know how to build them as solid structures, as you see here, where it's just a whole bunch of blocks. The inside is totally filled. And you also know how to make them hollow by checking the hollow mark. I hope you had fun with this program. You can begin to build some big things this way. Instead of having to build it all yourself, block by block, you now know how to specify to build really huge structures all at once. Happy coding!